We've heard of this, that the moon is possibly inhabited by aliens. So are there any alien bases, non-human entity bases based on the moon? And we're getting a yes. Let me tell you, folks, I don't move this pendulum. It moves on its own. Question everything. Question authority. Question compliance. And question life. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to question the moon. My name is Aton, and welcome to my cosmic awakening. I've been dowsing for quite a few years now. And if you don't know what dowsing is, it is a divination method to connect to the beyond, to the other side. Now, there are other forms of divination, and you've probably heard of many of them. But for some strange reason, and I can't explain why, I've been drawn to the pendulum. Trust me, I've tried tarot. I can't figure out what those cryptic cards mean to save the life of me. I've tried predicting the future, but everything always turns out fuzzy and nothing makes any sense. I've tried channeling and remote viewing. I would sit for hours and hours with a damn blindfold over my eyes until I couldn't stand it any longer. I've spent years, mind you, trying to get out of body, and I have astral projected and seen my body lying on my bed, which was quite a trip. But something about holding that pendulum and feeling the energy coming through my body, into my arm, into my hand, and then moving that pendulum, which I didn't tell it to do, was magical for me. And I thought to myself, why not try to connect to the moon? And not just the moon, but the moon's consciousness. Let's talk about the moon just for a minute. Every night we look up at the moon, and it's different. As kids, we were told that cows jumped over the moon. Or maybe the moon is just made out of cheese. We've been told astronauts landed on the moon, and even drove around in moon buggies. Some say aliens have secret bases on the moon. Wolves howl at it. Halloween is nothing without it, and the tides are affected by it. Why such a fascination with a giant rock in the sky? Are all these things true? Well, maybe not the cheese thing. I believe the Earth has a consciousness, so why not the moon? Now, I've never tried to contact the moon, but I'm going to try today. So before I begin, let's go over just a few fun moon facts. Now, apparently the moon was formed from a giant impact about 4.5 billion years ago. A large Mars-sized planet collided with the early Earth. Debris from both bodies coalesced to form the moon, explaining why its composition is similar to Earth's mantle. Okay, I'm not going to deny that. Maybe that happened. Maybe a big asteroid or something, or obviously a planet collided with Earth, just broke it apart, and over millions and billions of years, the moon formed. It sounds plausible, sounds reasonable. No reason to really question that. Or is there? It's tidally locked. The moon takes the same amount of time to rotate on its axis as does to orbit the Earth, about 27.3 days. So the same side always faces us. This is called synchronous rotation, and we only see the near side from the Earth. The far side isn't permanently dark, it's just never visible to us. Okay, we know that. We all learned in school that the tides happen because of the moon. We all know that there's a dark side of the moon, hence Pink Floyd. Gravity is 1/6 of Earth's. The moon's surface gravity is approximately 16.6% of Earth's, which is why the Apollo astronauts could bounce up and down much higher and much farther. Now, this one is actually quite interesting. The moon appears the same size as the sun from Earth. Despite the sun being about 400 times larger in diameter, it's also roughly 400 times farther away. This coincidence allows perfect solar eclipses. Let me read that again. This coincidence allows perfect solar eclipses where the moon can fully cover the sun. I actually looked this up to see what are the chances that a moon would be 400 times smaller than the Earth or the sun, right? And that you would have a perfect eclipse. Now, Grok says, I'm reading right from Grok, astronomers widely describe this as a remarkable cosmic coincidence. How often do you use the word remarkable?
That was remarkable.
That was remarkable.
That was remarkable.
That was remarkable.
But scientists, astronomers, who are supposed to be men of science, describe this as a remarkable cosmic coincidence. Okay. Now, this, I'm going to quote the Bible. This is from Genesis. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years." And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, the sun, and the lesser light to rule the night, the moon. I want to go over real quick what I do to prepare before I do a dowsing session. The first thing I do is I take a few breaths and I bring in the love light of the universe into my crown chakra. I then sage the area, making sure that all the negative vibrations and energies are no longer there. I then pour some water into a goblet. I bless the water with love and light, and I drink the water. Once I'm completely relaxed, then I'm ready to begin the dowsing session. Hey folks, I'm interrupting this session just for 30 seconds. If you like what you are seeing, please take a second, like and subscribe. It would really help me out. This is a brand new channel and I would love to continue doing what I'm doing. If you have a topic of interest that you would like me to douse on, please let me know. I've got a list of topics already, but I would love to hear what you want me to look into. Let's start dowsing. Before you even ask a question, you want to open up the channel. I'd like to ask the moon consciousness, the conscious of the moon, to come in. Can the moon consciousness come in? Okay, that's a yes. Since I've got my hands in just the right place here, I'm going to not move them. I'm going to ask this question. Were any of the moon landings starting in 1969 faked? Okay, I'm getting a yes. Okay. Was the moon landing on July 20th, 1969, known as Apollo 11, in any way faked? Okay, I'm getting a yes there too. Now this is a good one. Have any humans actually landed on the moon? We'll try this angle here. Have any humans actually, since 1969 or even before, have any humans actually landed on the moon? Okay, so look what it's doing now. This is what I call, see how it's going between yes and no? You notice that the right says yes, of course, and the left says no. When this occurs, when I douse, when it does sort of a left-right thing, usually it's asking you, it's saying, okay, the question wasn't exactly very clear. There could be some truth to that question. Rephrase the question. Have any humans actually frequented or visited the moon? We'll try that. Okay, we're getting a yes there. Okay, so some of us have been there. Was Neil Armstrong the first person to step onto the surface? Okay. Was Neil Armstrong the first person to step onto the surface of the moon? Okay, I'm getting a no. Can we see that over there? Yeah. NASA claims that they have not returned to the moon because it wouldn't make sense to recreate the Apollo 11 craft and would have to design a new type of spaceship. Is this true? Okay. I do remember that. They said they lost the tapes, the telemetry tapes, or something like that. Right? So NASA said that they lost the technology, let's say, to go back to the moon. They have to build a new Apollo 11. Is that true? I'm getting a no. Okay, NASA. Has any human visited the dark side of the moon? Now, we already kind of asked this question a little bit when I changed or I added that question, but I didn't mention dark side of the moon, right? So let's get specific here. Has any human visited the dark side of the moon? Okay, let's go. Dear Moon Consciousness, has any human visited the dark side of the moon? And we're getting a clear yes there. Oh, yeah. Okay. Thought it was forbidden. Are there any military and or alien bases on the dark side of the moon? Military and or alien. I mean, I guess we could do this. We could try, it's really two questions, right? So, well, let's ask this question as is, and then we'll parse it to see if it's military and or alien bases. So, are there any military and or alien bases on the moon? Okay, thank you. Let's parse this out now. So we're going to first ask military. Now, with military, I'm going to be specific, and I'm going to say, I'll say U.S. government. Okay, I'll say U.S. government. Any U.S. government military bases on the moon, on the dark side of the moon, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, alien bases. Now we've heard of this, that the moon is possibly inhabited by aliens, right? So are there any alien bases, non-human entity bases based on the moon? And we're getting a yes. Let me tell you, folks, I don't move this pendulum. It moves on its own. This one, I love this one. When President Nixon picked up, I don't know if I was too little when this happened, but we've seen the clips. When President Nixon picked up the phone in the White House, was he really speaking to Neil and Buzz via mission control in Houston?
Hello, Neil and Buzz.
I don't know if you remember that. It's a classic. You could Google that up, and you could even watch the video. But Nixon picks up the phone at the White House. It's patched in to Houston. This is 1969, by the way. One hell of a long distance call. But let's see here. When President Nixon picked up the phone in the White House, was he really speaking live to Neil and Buzz? Now I'm going to see. I just say live to. He might have been speaking live to Neil and Buzz, but I didn't say on the moon. On the moon via mission control in Houston. Okay, let's see. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense there. Was he really speaking to Neil and? Okay, there's a no there.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a great honor and privilege for us to be here.
Oh, this is a good one. There is a conspiracy theory that the film director, Stanley Kubrick, he's the one who did A Clockwork Orange, 2001: A Space Odyssey, right? Eyes Wide Shut, The Shining, that the film director Stanley Kubrick filmed the moon landing on a sound stage. Is there any truth to this? Okay, this is a big, big conspiracy theory that there's a lot of speculation about this because of the way that the angles and the lighting and all that kind of stuff, that it was kind of faked. Okay, so is there any truth to this? We're going to say either a yes or no, right? Is there any truth to Stanley Kubrick, the film director? That's a yes, ladies and gentlemen. And Stanley Kubrick, if you don't know who he is, he directed those films. His last film, a lot of controversy about that film, Eyes Wide Shut, and we could do a whole session on that. But he died before that film came out, and that was supposedly a very, very revealing film about the, well, we're not even going to say it right now. So true or false, is the moon like a Death Star that was brought in by extraterrestrials or an advanced civilization? I hope you guys can make this out. Oh, okay. So you see I'm getting the yes, no here. So what I'm asking is partially true. Now, notice what this is doing now. It's actually going quite fast back and forth. When I can feel it, okay? You might not be able to feel it, of course, or see it. But when the pendulum is swinging back and forth very energetically, the consciousness that you're connecting to, it's almost like they're yelling, they're screaming, they're like, ask it this way, or kinda, or if it's a yes, it would be yes, 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 if it was swinging all the way to the right. For me, the right is yes. So there's some truth to that question. If you studied at all about conspiracy theories about the Nazis and what happened to them, there's a lot of them. Holy moly. Do you see this right here? Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can get it. Do I have it here? Yeah, right there. Do you see my little moon? Move this out of the way. My little thing. This is my moon. I put, stuff in here to make it smell nice when I douse. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that. True or false? The moon, this is crazy, guys. I just learned about this one about a year ago. True or false? The moon emits or has emitted a tractor beam of sorts. Talk about Star Wars Death Star. To keep the vibration of Earth's population low. I should put Death Star. Now, I asked, the moon emits or has emitted. So maybe it used to and it doesn't anymore, or maybe it still does. So we can actually dive into that, or maybe it doesn't at all. Maybe I'm just crazy. We're in a movie, ladies and gentlemen. True or false? The moon is part of a reincarnation trap, trapping souls after they leave the Earth plane to recycle them back to Earth. Now, this one is really kind of nutty, but there is a theory that the reincarnation cycle is really a trap, and that some souls are recycled back to Earth almost immediately because of the hold that the moon has, because of some kind of negative alien technology. So I'm going to ask this question. First of all, is that at all true, or has it been true that the moon had some kind of a reincarnation soul trap? Yeah. Now, I'd like to end this on a positive note. I honestly don't know. Like I said, I've never asked this question, but I'm going to ask it now. Is that reincarnation or soul trap still in operation? And that's a no. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what can I say? Okay, I contacted the moon, at least I think I did. I'm going to, first of all, before I continue, before I end this session, I want to thank the Moon Consciousness for coming. With great gratitude, thank you for these answers. I hope you found this, at the very least, entertaining, if not making you think about certain things. And I'm going to sign off. Thanks for being part of Aton's Cosmic Awakening.